Hey, baby, walk. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Hey, Doug. My clothes brush. Kia ora. Kia ora, everybody. Hey, I'm Shifty. Welcome. Been busy, but I finally made it. Oh, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Kia ora. Don't forget to my clothes brush. I am streaming I'm streaming on TikTok from Streamlabs. So I don't know how this is gonna be, but let's see. Salam Marit, how are you? Hey Callum. Kia ora, everybody. Right, today, we are going to be looking at a few different stories. We're going to start off with some updates. We're going to start off with the rhetoric around immigration. You're ill? That sucks, Callum. We're going to talk about more of the anti-immigrant rhetoric, and it's not just it's in Aotearoa as well. It's definitely starting to be amplified by our political class. So we're going to analyze that for a little bit. We're going to look at some American politics, but I do today want to go back to got to figure out the vertical orientation, but I've been putting it off successfully. Nice. Yeah, we are going to talk about the Morocco-Spain thing for sure. But I want to start off with something from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I want to show you what the rhetoric is like in New Zealand. I want to show you what the bigotry is like from politicians. So we have quite a bigoted politician. His name is Winston Peters. He he is an example of everything that's wrong with this country. And I'm gonna play what he said a few hours ago. I also want you to know that this anchor, his name is Ryan Bridges, the host of the show, and he is reporting for New Zealand Herald. All very sort of, they're very liberal establishment. And for me, when you hear this, you'll see how a lot of, hey Lindsay, welcome. Hey Beth, you'll see how the media enables this sort of anti-immigrant rhetoric by not holding politicians like Winston Peters to account. So we're going to start off with this, and we're going to head into what's going on in Spain. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Kia ora. Morena. It's great to have all of you here. Welcome. Hey, because I'm streaming to TikTok from Streamlabs TikTok, I want you to smash the like button. I want you to share the live. It's a new, I'm doing it from a single app now, so hit the like button, share the live, get more people in here. because I'm streaming from another third-party app and not a TikTok app, it's not going to push it out as much. All right, let's go.
New Zealand First wants to pay Kiwis to have more babies. The party yesterday announced its Kiwi Kids Grant, $5,000 tax-free for the first per year for the first 3 years for the first 3 children. New Zealand's birth rate is currently 1.53 births per person, down from 1.58 in 2025. 2.1 is how many you need to replace yourselves. That doesn't account for migration, of course. While announcing this policy, New Zealand First leader Winston Peters also pointed out declining births by citizens. 20 years ago, 87% of births were by citizens. Last year, it was 72. New Zealand First leader Winston Peters is with me live this morning.
Morty.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, can I start with last week? And before I want to come to your policy, but I just want to clear up this last week's stuff. We all heard what you said to Lawrence Shunan in the House, all that. But it was actually something that your deputy said, which was that Lawrence Shunan needed to know his place.
So Lawrence Shunan is an Asian New Zealander, and he wasn't born in New Zealand, just like me. But he's lived in New Zealand for a long time. Like, I've grown up in New Zealand. My family came to New Zealand when I was 8 years old. So just listen to the rhetoric here. And this is why I speak. My name, for example, the Noisy Immigrant, is very much about what you're going to hear. Because this is the rhetoric from people like Winston Peters. The bigoted rhetoric that we need to snuff out in New Zealand.
I just wondered, what does that mean? Do different people have different places in New Zealand society?
What it means is your colleagues don't know how to do their job properly. I was talking about the appalling circumstance where so much deceit was around the COVID-19 epidemic that so many New Zealanders were unnecessarily harmed when medical information was against them getting the vaccine the second time. I was talking about 12 to 17-year-olds. And thousands of them will have a truncated life as a consequence of that. And then this clown shouts out, "Did you get vaccinated?" And just kept shouting that out. That's what happened, and I'm not going to leave from that. And I told him what he could do with himself, because frankly, it was about the fact that there's full-scale inquiries going on in the United States at the moment. You got Fauci's up in front of the Senate, and there's a full-scale inquiry going on as to what happened. And back in here, we had a massive cover-up in New Zealand. All these political parties.
So this guy, this dude runs a party called New Zealand First, and his politics are all about amplifying the most bigoted, divisive talking points to get to a percentage of New Zealand who believe this crap. And the flat earthers, the vaccine skeptics, I guess, and just bigots. All of these, this is who he speaks to. And every election, he'll get just enough votes to make it back into Parliament. Just enough. And he knows what he needs to say to get those votes. He gets 5 to 6% of the votes in New Zealand. And he does it by the NZ MAGA. Exactly, Lindsay. It's New Zealand MAGA. And he does it every single time. Anti-immigrant rhetoric. Is he worse than Trump? It's like he is Trump's he's like Trump's pube. Cut from the same nutsack. He'll anti-trans rhetoric. He's a massive transphobe, and he just gets the worst fucking people to vote for him. And he does this all just by saying the most divisive, bigoted shit. Listen to this.
Parties sign up to the podium of truth, and the rest is history. That's what happened last week. That's what the debate was about, and nobody's even knowing at this point in time what we were speaking about. But that's what I was talking about when this person shouted out in the way he does. And
Morty, thank you so much. Thank you so much. 200. Oh my gosh, Modi. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm not going to backtrack on people like that. If they can't have respect for the argument and part of the debate, then they're going to get the consequences, and that's what happened to them.
No, totally understand what the debate was about.
Yeah, totally understand what the debate's about. Bro, these no spine. These hosts, no spine. All they do is provide oxygen to people like Winston Peters. And you know what? New Zealand Herald's reporting on the genocide in Gaza. New Zealand Herald's reporting on so many issues that are so important in the world right now has been it very, very white supremacist in nature. It's been very biased. It's been extremely, when we talk about mainstream media, Western media manufacturing consent for genocide, it's insane. And when America started the illegal war against Iran, and when the riots were happening in Iran, what did he get? He got pro-Reza Pahlavi Iranians. So this same guy, Ryan Bridges brought on pro-Reza Pahlavi people to talk about Iran. Didn't bring any Iranians who are truly about liberation and not just install another monarch. It's so fucking obvious. When you know it, it's so obvious. These people are towing the line, man.
We spoke about this last week. It was about COVID. Look, I wasn't the biggest fans of those restrictions either. Let's be honest. However, he's in Parliament. But hang on, just let me finish the question, because it's hard to answer a question unless one's been asked.
You're worse than that. The mainstream media just went along with it. The mainstream media went along with the podium of truth. The mainstream media attacked me for going down and talking to the protesters who were legitimately protesting.
Yes, I know they did.
That's what reeks here.
Do you know what? We're dealing with a different media now, and including yours truly. So let's talk about what happened last week.
Hallelujah.
COVID aside, why tell them to go back home? And why is there?
Yeah. So Winston Peters and his party have been telling this Asian New Zealander to go back to where he came from. And he doesn't want to answer the question. Hey, Matt, it's just bigotry.
You're a different. Shane Jones says, know your place to Lawrence Shunan. What is?
Yeah, this is the rhetoric towards immigrants, guys. There is a certain underlying tone in New Zealand where if immigrants speak up about politics, they're told to shut the fuck up. They're called noisy immigrants, or they're made to be quiet, told to go back to where they came from if they don't like this country. It's the most awful shit, awful bigotry. And one of the, that dude who's been basically stalking me online, the Chips guy, that guy's a white supremacist. And he is stalking me because he's a New Zealander. He's stalking me because he wants me to shut up about white supremacy and white privilege and the problems, talking about problems in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Okay? And I also today found out that guy is a Nick Fuentes fan. That guy is a Nick Fuentes fan. He follows Nick Fuentes. He attacked me on X, and one of the accounts he follows on X is Nick Fuentes. Okay, these are the fucking types of people telling immigrants to shut up.
What does that mean, know your place?
Well, because, I've seen people like Ricardo Mendez get up in the house and he's going on day in, day out. This is a guy that tried to break the rules getting his partner back from overseas. We all know that, don't you? That's
yes,
what I mean about knowing your place.
Well, hang on, but is it because they're foreign born that there's some sort of ethnic pecking order in New Zealand?
There's some sort of ethnic pecking order. Yeah, there is, bro. There absolutely is an ethnic pecking order. And Winston plays that card all of the time. He's just like, no. But then he plays that fucking card all of the time.
He's only been there 5 minutes. He spends 4 times more in Parliament talking than anybody else. But he's only been in Parliament 5 minutes. Now, listen, you asked a question, now wait for the answer. He's been in Parliament 5 minutes. He spends 4 times more talking than anybody else. He gets up and lectures.
By the way, after signing the India-New Zealand trade, the free trade agreement, one of his main people, his right-hand man, Winston Peters' right-hand man, Shane Jones, said that we don't want a flood of butter chicken into the country. Like that, those were his comments. After signing that free trade agreement, we don't want a flood of butter chicken into the country. And when my brother got the job at Air New Zealand, his supporters, I know they're his supporters, his and David Seymour's supporters are calling Air New Zealand Butter Chicken Airlines. Bro, these people are just fucking racist. He'll use words like woke. He'll use words like Marxist, leftist. But he wants to use, he actually wants to use slurs, but he can't. He's a coward. Spineless. People like Winston Peters are replacing slurs with words like woke. If he had the opportunity, he would drop all sorts of fucking slurs. This prick.
Everybody over and over again, all the time, like he's some sort of expert. I'm not going to listen to some pinko greenie making those sorts of statements without reacting properly. It's called a debating chamber. If you don't like it, get out of the kitchen.
No, fair enough. But so there is no...
No, fair enough. Yeah. Talk about enabling racists, bro. Fair enough? Really? Is that fair enough, Ryan?
Do you view people in New Zealand who are born here, who are citizens, different to citizens who were born overseas? Or are we all New Zealanders? Are we one New Zealand?
No, we are. You don't view them as different, but we are the same people at the same time. Don't say I came here 5 minutes ago and I'm a New Zealander. I mean, the reality is for most people, they believe you're a New Zealander if you're born here. Otherwise, you're a person that adopts New Zealand as your country. You sign up, you become a citizen. You get all those fundamental and same rights. We believe in that total equality. But it doesn't mean you're identical. That's the point. And you got the sort of woke thinking that tries to subscribe or ascribe things which are not true.
I'll tell you this, guys. See, that is the racist bullshit right there. The racist bullshit right there. I'll tell you the truth, okay? The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you're born here or not. Citizens are provided the same rights no matter what. Okay? Human beings have human rights everywhere they go. It doesn't matter. Even if you're a citizen, if you're here as a refugee, it doesn't fucking matter. The problem with this dude, with what he's saying is, he's saying that if you're born here, then you become a New Zealander. Okay? If you're born here, then you have, you can take part in all of this discourse. And people will see you differently because you're born here. I can guarantee you, my brown son who was born here, those bigots like Winston Peters, are not going to ask my brown son whether he was born here before they say racist shit to him. Okay? Winston Peters is not going to be racist after asking my brown son whether he was born here or not. Bigots like Winston don't give a fuck. Okay? Bigots like Winston are going to be bigots whether you were born here or not. They'll look at you and make a judgment. That's who Winston is. A simple, old bigot.
Look at the dictionary, just as clear as daylight what this is. This person's an expat. If I'm offshore some other country, I'm an expert. If I'm living in Saudi Arabia, I don't become Saudi Arabian.
Yeah, I'll talk to this old prick. He won't talk to me.
You see what I mean?
Totally understand. But should they be treated any differently? in your opinion?
No, they shouldn't have treated any of that. You get the same protections, the same laws, the same shelter as everybody else. But I didn't come on this program to talk about that. I just wasted time.
No, I know you didn't, but I wanted to clarify what exactly was meant by
Invisible String, you took a mental health break. I hope you're feeling better. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Human rights are a myth. They are just what the lying state promises not to do to you. Yeah, but they shouldn't be a myth, right? Like, human rights shouldn't be a myth. Just because some greedy ass people are making it a myth doesn't mean we should allow it to continue to happen.
right, because it sounded to me like you were insinuating that those who came here recently don't have a right to interject in a parliament, which is a democratic right, which is the whole point of this country and why people come here in the first place. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, if I'm being frank.
Well, I tell you what didn't make a lot of sense. I tell you what didn't make a lot of sense. Being a smart aleck is shouting out, have you been vaccinated?
Yeah. That's not what this guy has a chip on his shoulder. He thinks he is some sort of, some sort of incredible person who can say whatever the fuck he wants. By the way, this guy's Maori, and he talks so much crap against the Maori community. It's insane. It's oh my gosh. He's so divisive, and he does it only to win votes of those people who are extremely bigoted, like the hyper bigoted conspiracy theorists who are constantly, like the MAGA people, bro. That's who he constantly panders to. He's trying to get their votes every time. He'll say and do anything. He doesn't have a consistent bone in his body.
No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But what you covered, did you and your colleagues get to that? Absolutely zero.
Right. Okay. Hey, very quickly, and before we get onto your policy, one more little silly bit. Did you see Christopher Luxon's comments on Friday to the Rotorua business leaders, Winston? And what did you think?
Well, I want to know what I'm doing on this program. That's what I think. I came on to talk about assisting people to have children in a country where the population is declining rapidly and where our whole population ethos is changing dramatically under our face. It's a crisis. And you asked me about what the Prime Minister did in Rotorua. Well, I can tell you what the Prime Minister did in Rotorua, but, that's not what I'm on the program for.
This is why I hate covering New Zealand politics. Number one, it is boring as fuck. And number two, it's full of people like Winston Peters here who are just the most, like they're trying to be uber bigots, but they just end up looking like this, just decrepit and unable to form a clear sentence without shouting people down. It's like, this is Winston Peters is what's wrong with New Zealand politics. Just bigoted, racist bullshit that gets a pass from our media like it's nothing. Like Pauline Hanson. Exactly. Same shit, bro. Same shit. Okay. Let's talk about the migrants now who are stranded in Spain. Let's talk about the Moroccan migrants stranded in Spain. What's going on? And let's get an update on that.
They're queuing for water, the army having finally delivered a supply. It's the first bit of assistance most have received since arriving in Ceuta. The chaotic manner of their arrival in Spain's autonomous outpost on the North African coast has inflamed EU tensions over immigration. And while the authorities have sent back most of the mainly Moroccans among some 60,000 who breached the border, this is the human crisis left behind. Citizens of Sudan, Algeria, Egypt, Mali, Senegal, Somalia.
We just need the asylum. That's all we seek for. Asylum.
But I had understood they're back home now. It's not all of them. There was so many people. There were so many people there. there were so many people there. They haven't sent all of them back across the border. There's still a lot of people stuck.
Asylum.
Yeah.
And then to travel on to Europe.
Possible. If you have our rights, we will have documents, they will register us, and then they will do what they're supposed to do for us.
What do you think, Noisy? Trump and Netanyahu made a call to the King of Morocco. Bro, this migration crisis from Africa to Europe has been happening for a long time. Spain is not like, just because Pedro Sanchez says nice shit doesn't mean Spain is like this incredible actor in global politics, you know? Spain is a colonizer, let's be real. And Spain has been looting from Africa just as any other European country has, just as any country in the West has. And this migration crisis, especially with climate change, is going to get worse. This is the moment for the West to act and be a partner in the world, not to close borders off. So whatever Spain does from here, or what Europe is going to do, I'll tell you exactly how Europe is going to react, which is how it's been reacting. And there's a lot of information now that it's going to be that way. Europe is closing off its borders. It's tightening immigration laws just when immigration laws need to become more humane, they are becoming more inhumane. Just when you're not a leftist, then, average Norwegian gamer, you're not a leftist. You're laughing as a leftist. Let's be real. Just when climate change is at its worst, just when things are like Europe is flaring up wars in Africa, funding fucking all of these different forces in Africa. Like, Europe shouldn't be closing borders, bro. That's inhumane. If Europe wants to close its borders, pay reparations to Africa so that people can stay in their homes. Stop fucking up people's homes. Stop stealing from these fucking people. Stop taking their minerals. Until then, Europe, no European, nor any European country can pretend like this is a crisis they didn't know about. This is a crisis manufactured by Europe.
But so far, nothing.
No, yes, for now, nothing.
The Spanish government says the border is once more secure, but Ceuta has been overwhelmed. Its migrant reception centre was full even before this crisis. Now humanity spills out onto the embankment below and still further into the valley. People camped in an African ravine in the hope...
Buddy, not trolling. Europe can't just continue to steal resources from other people and then act the victim. This is a migration crisis that has been waiting to explode. Europeans cannot fathom that the problems in the world right now is created by fucking Europe, bro. It's created by white supremacy. It's created by the West. So now all of those problems are coming home to roost. Of course, Europe isn't going to be receptive to it because Europe doesn't give a fuck about black and brown lives.
Of a European life. And on the beach, the overflow continues, with no sign that immigration authorities in this Spanish city have any ability to cope. I'm really struck on this beach by the almost total lack of support.
Yeah. This place here is colonized land. This is in Africa. This place here is in Africa. Ceuta or Ceuta. It's in Africa. Oh, Sean, right. You were talking to him? Yeah, just tag the other dude. Let's tag the other dude.
These people have received since arriving here. There is some water for the first time. Most haven't eaten at all, though, and there is no one here for them to talk to.
Spain is an African territory telling African people that they cannot enter African territory. And people tell me that European colonization ended. When the fuck did it end? No. Average Norwegian gamer. I'm sorry, bro. Your that view is extremely bigoted. It's dehumanizing. When Europe continues to create the conditions of these people's displacement, Europe has no moral high ground when closing off the borders. Europe and the West is creating the conditions for these people's displacement. Okay? And that's undeniable. You read a book.
To appeal to, who can reassure them or give them any idea at all what may happen next.
Some countries that like Sudani and Somali, they can't go back. Their countries are fighting and many problems are there. So going back is too hard for us. Instead of that, we have to just sit here and start waiting until we get help.
There's a sudden frisson of activity and a large group assembles on the sand. In their frustration, it turns out, this is an effort to self-organize.
Yeah, don't feed the rats, he says leftistly. Bro, you're LARPing as a leftist average Norwegian gamer. You're not a leftist, bro. You're just... You sound so bigoted. You're dehumanizing other people. You're not a leftist. You're just a white supremacist.
A head count of all the Sudanese present. Safety in numbers.
White leftists often downplay the role of white supremacy and white privilege in global issues. White leftists who downplay the role of white supremacy and white privilege in geopolitics are not leftists. Okay? So always ensure that whenever a white leftist comes at you with the Communist Manifesto, whenever a white leftist comes at you with the Communist Manifesto, ask them if they acknowledge white supremacy and white privilege. This is the modern left? Nah, bro. You might just be fascist but you're not a leftist, buddy.
Perhaps. What else are they supposed to do? Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, Ceuta, Spain.
The left in Western Europe is changing. Yeah, that's why the Nazis had socialist in their fucking name, right? Yeah, I know. The left in Western Europe is changing. It's going back to its Nazi roots, buddy. Its white supremacist roots. Okay, let's talk about this. And this speaks to more of the this crisis and what European countries are doing. Instead of dealing with this in a humane way, what are they going to do? They're going to close off borders and act like the problem doesn't exist.
European ministers are to hold emergency video talks on Tuesday after more than 50,000 people entered Spain's North African territory of Ceuta from Morocco. The leaders of 22 EU...
It's like saying the Nazis were leftist. Yeah. I'm a leftist. Damn, don't feed these rats. Fuck.
Countries had called for a meeting,
Some people
citing
don't
the need
even
to
know
prevent further uncontrolled
Nazism.
crossings. The majority of those who entered the territory have now voluntarily returned to Morocco, and the authorities say normality is being resumed. At least 67 people died, many of them drowned, trying to swim around the border. But the political fallout is rippling across Europe. Spain's Prime Minister has denounced what he called the selfish attitude of some members of the European Union. It comes after Italy suspended the EU's border-free Schengen arrangements with Spain for a month. Barry Caffrey reports.
After the chaos of recent days, relative calm. But the consequences of a mass crossing of around 60,000 people into this small Spanish territory in North Africa are only just beginning.
Norway doesn't do shit, bro. Norway sits in the fucking corner and yaps away. Norwegian people yap away about human rights, and then Norwegian people say shit like this average Norwegian gamer. When it comes down to it, Norway never gave a fuck about these lives, dude.
The migrants entered Ceuta on Thursday in the space of around 24 hours. Local officials said nearly all of them had since returned to Morocco. There's been widespread condemnation from European politicians.
You were always against mass immigration. Bro, Maori in Aotearoa, New Zealand were against mass immigration. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders were against mass immigration, buddy. The Native Americans in the United States and Canada and in Latin America were all against mass immigration. The Palestinians were against mass immigration. But did Europe give a fuck then? Did Europe care? African people were against mass immigration. The Global South was against mass immigration. Why the fuck did Europe fuck up the world and then now play the victim when all of the bullshit created by Europe is coming back home to roost? Cry me a river, buddy.
Some criticism has involved concerns over the Schengen area.
I am with these people. I am with these people. These people crossing the borders. These people with very little. I am with them. I hope they find a great life in Europe. I hope they find a fucking amazing life in Europe.
An agreement which
I hope they find a great life in Norway.
Eliminates border checks and now encompasses more than 450 million people and 29 countries in Europe. Italy suspended its Schengen agreement.
Salam, Asena. Oh shit. I haven't opened the sound for that one. Sorry, Asena.
With Spain for a month. The country's foreign minister said the government supported legal migration while opposing irregular entry.
The government defends our borders and national security in accordance with European regulations and in line with other European Union countries.
I'll wait. Nah, I'm not opening that software. I'm streaming in one unified Streamlabs thing, so I'll just say it. Well done, my boy. There you go.
Finland, France and Portugal have all said they were either looking at or considering border checks. Floating barriers like this one have been installed to try and prevent a repeat of Thursday's incident.
No, that's not a bit racist. You are racist. It's not a bit racist. You are racist. Bro, you're racist, white supremacist, LARPing as a leftist. You're not a leftist. Just let's be clear.
And while the majority of those who crossed have now gone back to Morocco, the territory's leader says things are not yet back to normal.
There are still several thousand people in Ceuta who must be returned, and the mood among the population of Ceuta remains marked by unease and concern.
The number of people confirmed to have died during the rush over the border is 67. That figure is expected to rise further as specialist divers search the sea. The European Union will hold emergency talks on Tuesday to discuss the migration crisis in Ceuta. 22 member states issued a joint letter calling for coordinated action, as well as for the strengthening of the EU's external borders. Barry Caffrey, BBC News.
These are some live pictures coming to us from Ceuta. It's looking at a much quieter scene this Sunday morning. Spain clearly taking steps to make sure that a mass influx doesn't take place again. It's planning to install a 500...
Why do people pretend... why the fuck do people pretend to be leftists, bro? Why do people pretend to be leftists when they're obviously like fucking racist white supremacists? Like, why do they pretend? Why the fuck do these people pretend? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Meter floating barrier in the sea to stop people swimming around the border fence, and the area is also being patrolled by Civil Guard vessels. We saw one of those vessels just a moment ago on that live shot, but looking like a quieter picture this morning.
To get girls.
And Spain has said that most of those migrants who came in from Morocco on Thursday have now voluntarily returned to Morocco.
To get girls.
Well, Stephen Zunis, Professor of Politics and Programme Director for Middle Eastern Studies at the University of San Francisco, he's written about Spanish-Moroccan geopolitics. He explained to me that the possible reasons behind that influx of people to Ceuta.
Primarily because Morocco appears to...
There is the largest migrant crisis about to happen in the world, across the planet. And it will happen because of climate change. It will happen because there is going to be drought across the world. In the next couple of decades, it is going to increase and increase and increase. It's going to displace so many fucking people that the world has not seen a crisis this big ever. You think these borders are going to hold people out? You think these borders are going to hold people out when there are 100 million people at these fucking borders? You think you'll be able to hang on to your bullshit piece of fucking sovereignty when your actions have created the climate crisis that's about to just explode? The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, I know it's perfect in your town, bro. That's why there'll be more fucking Moroccans in your country. Get ready for it.
have allowed it. Indeed, they may have encouraged it. I mean, there were lorry loads filled with young men that were being sent right up to the frontier with the Spanish territory. Moroccan guards, which usually keep things pretty closed, open the gates. And so it appeared to be an effort to put some pressure on the Spanish Prime Minister, presumably having something to do with his recent visit to Algiers. Of course, Algeria is a major geopolitical rival of Morocco, and they're perhaps getting a bit nervous about the thawing relationship.
Do not buy into this whole rhetoric of like trying to justify this because Morocco is playing against Algeria or whatever. But it could be that. It could be that. But ultimately, there is a brewing mass immigration crisis that is about to happen. And it is all because of extractionism. About Western, the moment industrialization happened and European colonization was well underway, Europe industrialized how the world works. Okay, Europe industrialized and started putting carbon into the atmosphere, started enslaving people and murdering people at ever higher rates. It has completely ransacked the global south, and this problem and has done nothing to fix it. In fact, they've made it worse by creating global institutions in order to keep the global south as impoverished as possible. And now, because of all of that greed, all of that extractionism, all of that mass consumerism, we're ending up with a massive climate crisis, and all of these impoverished nations have no infrastructure to deal with any of these climate crises that are coming, that are showing up. No matter how sus this looks, Maddie, no matter how sus this looks, this is the beginning of a mass immigration crisis. There is no infrastructure in the global south to be able to manage this stuff. I would even argue that There is not enough infrastructure in the West to manage all of this stuff. And yet the West is closing its borders. Morocco is pretty industrialized, though. Really? Let me tell you something. This year, by the end of Q2 this year, already 1,000 people had drowned in the Mediterranean trying to cross into Europe. Just this year. The Mediterranean is a mass grave. This isn't a new problem.
Relations between those two countries.
And bring us also some of the broader geopolitical context of Morocco's relationship with the US and Israel and how that might have played into this.
Well, both the United States and Israel have a lot of bad feelings about Sanchez. The United States, because Spain is not paying up as much as Trump is ordering them to in terms of military spending. But particularly because the Spaniards are not allowing U.S. military bases or even their airspace to be used in any way to support the Iran war. Israel, meanwhile, of course, is quite upset at Spain's strong support for Palestinian rights. And
so what if I haven't? You sound like fucking Douglas Murray, bro. Are you gonna fucking tell me that I haven't been there so I can't talk about it? Stop using the same shitty talking points, bro. Stop it. Stop using. I haven't been to Norway, but I know that it is a white supremacist, fucking racist place, just as any European country is.
We've had, interestingly, pundits and politicians close to these the Israeli and American governments in recent months have been pushing for the idea of Morocco seizing the two presidios. So
what do you mean you know the country better? So what if you know the country better? You don't understand the migrant crisis that's brewing? What the fuck are you talking about? Do you not understand that the Mediterranean Sea is a mass grave? This is Europe's crisis. It is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's nothing Europe can do about it. They'll mass murder these people. Of course they will. Europe is used to doing that.
I haven't seen evidence to suggest that the United States and Israel pressured Morocco to do this, as some people are speculating. Certainly, Morocco felt somewhat emboldened, given the poor relations of these two close allies of theirs to Spain, to engage in such a provocative action.
And it was interesting that Spanish Interior Ministry...
Bro, most civilizations that Europe tried to completely eradicate are older than that, dumbass. So what if you build Norway over 1,000? Who gives a fuck?
Minister noticeably didn't criticize Morocco yesterday. How are they going to go about rebuilding the relationship to prevent this kind of thing happening again?
Well, things are pretty sensitive. Morocco's actually done this before. In 2021, after Spain allowed the president of Western Sahara, the former...
The only one we robbed is the Brits. Bro, every European country gained privilege because of what Western Europe did. Don't fucking tell me that it was only Britain. Don't do that shit. Switzerland didn't take part in colonization, but Switzerland did get a lot of benefit from it. And I'm sure if I look into Norwegian history, Norway gained a hell of a lot of benefit from European colonization too. So don't gaslight me, buddy. Don't gaslight me. Acknowledge what your continent has done and treat these people with empathy. Lead with empathy. Don't lead with dehumanizing racist language.
Spanish territory that Morocco largely occupies at this point and claims for their own, to visit Spain. Morocco opened the floodgates and allowed at least 10,000 Moroccans to pour into the territory. And indeed, Morocco's been holding over Spain's head a threat of opening things up even wider. It's only like 18 kilometers across the strait between Morocco and Spanish territory. And they've tried to use this to extort concessions from the Spanish.
Oh, they were definitely not all Moroccans. But look at the displacement crisis happening in Africa right now, folks. Look at it. Libya is absolutely fucked. Sudan, there's a genocide going on in Sudan. There's the Middle East is being constantly bombed for Western to maintain Western interests, Western benefits. The DRC, massive display. We're talking about tens of millions of people, and these are just war displacement. We're not even talking about climate displacement here, and that is just going to accelerate and accelerate and accelerate. And the world needs to pay attention to this. Treat it humanely. But no, what does fucking Europe do? Ignore and close off borders. This is how Europe will fucking die, bro. Like a shitty white supremacist continent. Fuck, I hate this shit, man. There's so many human beings being killed. It's an absolute mass grave in the Mediterranean. And idiots like this average Norwegian gamer is trying to justify it. Europe will never let go of its fascist white supremacist past. Never. Dehumanize black and brown people and, being happy with it. It's so sick, man.
Spanish government on economic issues, a number of things, including Spain renouncing its long-term support for Western Sahara self-determination to back Morocco's dubious autonomy plan for the territory, which would preclude a referendum on self-determination.
And then blame the victims. And then blame the Moroccan people. Blame these fucking people looking for a better life. This is how the West works, guys. Create the fucking problem and then blame the people who are trying to flee the problem.
So, and of course, when you do have big migrant waves like this incident, even though it did not get to the European continent, it tends to hurt leftist center governments. It tends to embolden the far right. And so the Spanish government has to tread lightly when they're dealing with Morocco.
No, Europe has not paid its debt, dumbass. The world is still being fucking looted. Europe has not paid its debt. This is what I mean, bro. Just leave. If you're gonna be like a fucking privileged little European prick, just leave. Stop pissing me off.
Morocco.
Okay. And now let's talk about the West Bank. Now let's talk about the West Bank. You have all of that violence, and now take care, bro. Don't be a racist. Stop being racist. Now here's more Western funding of racist governments.
In the West Bank, the state of Israel is tightening its grip in the places where Palestinians live their lives. Roads are shut, barriers erected, 5 military battalions redeployed after a surge of violence sparked by Israeli settlers. Yet the Palestinians are suffering the consequences. The ambulance in this small Palestinian village is driven by Bashar al-Qayuti. Last Monday, he picked up a woman who was 6 months pregnant. She was bleeding and in terrible pain. She needed urgent medical attention. But their route to the hospital was blocked by Israeli checkpoints, like this one near Nablus. The medics were forced to sit and wait at the roadside. The incident caught on the vehicle's cameras. But if they tried another route, they risked attacks and further delays.
حاولنا في كل الطرق إن نوصل للمستشفيات، وصلنا البوابات أطلقوا علينا الرصاص، وصلنا بوابات أخرى كمان المستوطنين لحقوا يكسرونا عند البوابات، بدهمش حتى ننقل المصاب لمصاب.
They had to wait for 10 minutes before the ambulance was
You remember how I showed you that Winston Peters guy? Here's his comment that he actually made in Parliament. Here it is.
Go back to your own country. That's where they lie like a flatfish.
Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Peters made those comments earlier this week in this room, and it's making headlines across the globe. The tirade was directed at Lawrence Shunan of the Green Party. He moved from China to New Zealand in 1994.
I think what we're seeing is a repeated behaviour and racism from one particular member and a senior member of his cabinet.
The Chinese embassy released a statement last night confirming that an official had lodged solemn representations to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade over negative China-related comments made by a certain politician in the New Zealand Parliament.
We oppose any form of discrimination and prejudice. We hope relevant people in New Zealand can do more things conducive to our friendship, do not play up China as an issue in its domestic politics.
Yeah, and when people like Winston Peters are racist against Indians, the Indian government does nothing. You know why the Indian government does nothing? Because they don't give a fuck. Because to them, the people they're being racist to, they don't even consider as part of Indian society. Fuck, bro. The Indian government is so cooked, honestly. Hey, Debo, welcome.
A spokesperson for Winston Peters said the Foreign Affairs Minister stood by his comments that were aimed at defending New Zealand's democracy. But former Prime Minister Helen Clark says his position as Foreign Affairs Minister is not tenable.
It becomes very damaging not only to New Zealand reputationally that a foreign minister would say things like this, but also could have some material impact on our trade, and we live and die by our trade.
Christopher Luxon has called out Winston Peters over his remarks.
He has as equal a right to be in that parliament and is a first-class citizen in the same way that Winston Peters may be as well.
But the Prime Minister confirmed today that he still has confidence in his Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Go back to your own country. That's where they lie like a flatfish.
Foreign Affairs.
Yeah, go back to your own country. That's where they lie like a flatfish. Go back to your
Go back to your own country. That's where they lie like a flatfish.
That's where they lie like a flatfish. Go back to your own country. That's where they lie like a flatfish. This is who this despicable, racist human being. Fuck. I despise Winston Peters, bro. I hate him.
Permitted to advance. And we see the soldiers approach the vehicle, one with his rifle drawn. They open the door, see the pregnant woman and her nurse, and demand IDs. Then they tell the driver to shut off the engine. When the soldiers ordered Mr. Al-Kayuti to switch off the engine, he had to stop the oxygen and he had to turn off the monitors in the ambulance.
It's New Zealand.
And the crew were already running out of fluids, but they couldn't move. They were stuck here on the edge of the city, and soon they had to make an impossible decision. Did they try to save the life of the mother, or did they try to save the life of the child? That decision was made at the checkpoint. The nurse telling Al-Kayuti she must deliver the baby to save the mother's life. Another 10 minutes pass before the soldiers let them through.
بدي أسوي شيء عشان أنقذ الحياة اللي معي. صرخت على الجنود بكى بدهم يطخوني. حتى المسعفة الممرضة اللي كانت معي كمان.
New Zealand's not Australia, man. They're two different countries.
تسعف في المريضة وكمان يعني سلط عليها السلاح. الجندي وقف هون وحط السلاح في راسها.
They pass an extraordinary queue, thousands of people trapped inside Nablus before they reach the main hospital. Doctors confirmed their arrival shortly before 8 a.m. The life of the pregnant woman was saved.
Yeah, the accents are very different.
The baby was placed in a box.
Oh my God.
In response to our findings, the Israeli military denied the incident took place. Spokesperson told us the claim that IDF soldiers delayed an ambulance at the Al-Warda checkpoint is false. adding no such report regarding such an incident was received from the Palestinian side. But this is clearly contradicted by the video evidence from the ambulance crew. And the director of the Rafidia hospital and the doctor who treated the woman in question told us delays like these dramatically increase the chances of complications and death. The draconian restrictions on movement were introduced after the deaths of 2 Israelis last week. They lost their lives in a confrontation in a Palestinian village called Tel when a group of armed settlers entered the community. 4 local people were also killed. Attacks by settlers are rising in frequency, while Palestinians are feeling increasingly afraid. In the village of Kusra, the brand new mosque has been torched and dubbed in graffiti. And we found the mayor inside trying to put the pieces back together.
شعور يعني باليأس بالإحباط شعور بعنصرية من قبل الجانب الآخر هذا مسجد المسجد لربنا وانت حر في صلاتك سواء كنت مسيحي أو يهودي أو مسلم هذا حرية هين ما بتركوا الحرية للناس في العبادة.
Here we see the brothers who paid for the mosque, a building they named for their mother. But they told us they haven't got the money to repair it. The Israeli government says it's increasing security in the West Bank to combat terrorism. But it's also enabling the settlers as they invade and occupy more land. And the Palestinians seem powerless to stop it. John Sparks.
What do you mean seem powerless? They have nothing to stop it. It's the West that's done it. It's America. It's Europe. They're with one hand they're giving more weapons to Israel, and with the other they're taking away any ability for the Palestinians to defend themselves. Like, of course, this is. Whew. I don't want to listen to Bernie. I don't give a fuck about Bernie. All right, let's look at some Trump polling. What the fuck is going on?
Donald Trump was quite unpopular in term number 1, but in term number 2, he's hitting historic levels of unpopularity. And therefore, we're going to take you through the top 10, from 10 all the way to 1, on the issues in which he's dropping the most. And when we're talking about that, we're going to start talking about number 10 here on your list. I feel like Casey Kasem. Trump's immigration net approval rating. Of course, immigration has been such a key issue for President Trump since he first started running for the presidency back in 2015. And in 2018, at this point in term number 1, look at this. He was not a popular man. He was 11 points underwater at that point, well under the Gulf of Mexico. But look at here. Looky here now. He's now 17 points underwater on immigration, reaching historic lows. Of course, this has come after all of those ICE interactions that we've seen, after all the stricter border security, which of course Trump and his allies have focused on. But the bottom line is this: we're seeing a 6-point movement away from the president of the United States on a key issue for him. Now, I mentioned, he was in the next.
Think about it. Donald Trump is dehumanizing immigrants, has murdered so many people trying in concentration camps, and he's losing confidence from his own base on immigration. That shows you what the anti-immigration sentiment is like in America. America, like a lot of America, half of America, MAGA America anyway, they want concentration camps. They want ovens. And it's so sick, bro. Like the dehumanization of immigrants is insane. I think it's just so bad. I hate it. How is Ginger? He's good. He's doing well, but there is a bit of yet some have immigrant spouses and nannies. Yeah, exactly. They like it when immigrants can be taken advantage of, but immigrants have a voice. Immigrants use their voice for something. Oh shit. Shut up, immigrant. You're being too noisy. Yes, Ginger pooped. But we did find something yesterday that needs to be looked at. They're going to be scanning again. Ginger's ball sack. I mean, he's neutered. So it should be like, there should be no discernible like size to it, but it has inflamed a little bit. It's filled up with a bit of liquid, with a bit of something. And so they have to scan his ball sack to see what it is. Amber yesterday saw it, and the doctor rang me today, and they have to scan his ball sack. It just never ends. The scan also costs another $1,000, everybody. Another $1,000. But what are you gonna do, man? Like, we're so far down. I'm just like, bro, just do whatever you have to. just make sure he's okay. Fucking hell.
At this point in term number one. But when we talk about Trump running for president, he won in part a second term because of immigration. You can see it right here. Look at this. Trump and immigration. He was favored on that issue over Kamala Harris by 14 points.
We have pet insurance, but it doesn't cover this much. This is a lot. Scary. This is a lot. This is $30,000 is no joke. It's no joke.
Now he's 17 points underwater. It turns out that the promise of Trump on immigration has not met the reality in the minds of the American public.
Like, we've taken such a massive loan. Like, we can't. It's 30 grand. The Adderall's not.
They like tough immigration talk, but when it comes to the way that Trump represents it and the policies he implements, they don't like it nearly as much. Now, we speak about this 6-point shift away from Trump on immigration, but an even larger shift than this 6-point shift away from Trump on immigration is another issue that, of course, Trump has been running on for years, and it is trade. Trump, of course, wanting to put in interventionists or take those away and put in some protectionist tariffs. And what you see here is that on number 9, Trump's trade and tariffs net approval rating, in term number 1 at this point, look at this. He was 13 points underwater. Look at where he is now. He's 25 points underwater, nearly.
I honestly think it does not matter what these numbers say. Trump's base is going to vote for Trump's base. They may disagree. They may say, oh, nah, I don't like what's happening here, but they'll still vote for him. Because the reason why they vote for him isn't to do with the economy or anything like that. The reason why they vote for him, especially his white voters, is because they believe that he is going to make America great again, i.e., he's going to take it back to the days of, Jim Crow. Hey, Hussein, welcome.
Nearly a doubling of his negative net approval rating. This, of course, being a movement of 12. It's funny today. I can't seem to write so well. 12 points away from the President of the United States. He's down there in the China Sea when it comes to his net approval rating on trade and tariffs. Now, it's not just that Trump is underwater on tariffs. He has turned Americans against the very idea of tariffs, because look at this. Okay, U.S. on new tariffs.
Look at this.
And imported goods. In November of 2024, just after Trump won term number 2, you know what? He was actually pretty popular. Or his idea was pretty popular on tariffs. 52% of Americans favored new tariffs on imported goods. Just 48% opposed it.
Also, did you see Rubio says visas will be denied into the U.S. if they criticize Israel? Yeah, I saw that. Who gives a shit? Like, who wants to go there anyway? Fuck. Who wants to get shot? To get shot? Why would you want to go to America?
That 48% up like a Houston rocket. Look at it now. 64% of Americans oppose new tariffs on imported goods. It turns out that Americans aren't just turning against Trump on tariffs, they're turning against the very idea of tariffs, and that support down 16 points from 52 to 36. Basically an even issue, slightly more in favor, has become a 2-to-1 issue against. Now again, you know, we're talking about overall a 12-point shift away from.
You wish you had the means to leave America, yeah. I think a lot of Americans feel the way you do. It can't be easy for you guys. Did you guys see that In-N-Out burger shooter? The guy who just walked into the In-N-Out burger and just shot people? What the fuck is that? Here in the U.S., Trump and the Republicans refuse to rein in Netanyahu / the Israeli government at all. Establishment Democrat leadership refused to make genocide or ethnic cleansing an issue. Totally fucked up. Yeah. People were just watching and laughing and not calling police. Oh my gosh. We average about 2 mass shootings a day now. They don't even make the news. Yeah, I mean, yep, in a very red state, Idaho. Yeah, I guess he had a mental illness, right? For visa to us, to US, you have to put down 10 to 15K that you're supposed to get back later. Yeah.
President Trump on tariffs. But that 12 points, well, take a look here. We got an even bigger one for you. Coming in at number 8, Trump.
Folks, I'm using a new app for TikTok, and if you use external third-party apps, TikTok won't immediately push your live out. So can I ask everybody to like and share as much as possible, please? Please like and share it with people. Yeah, do whatever to share the live out. It's just using a new app, and I'm not getting the same reach. But the reason why I'm using a new app to do it is because my lives keep dying, and I'm just trying to bring all my live streams together so they don't just turn off randomly.
Healthcare net approval rating. You know, back in 2018, remember, Trump and the Republicans tried that skinny repeal of Obamacare, which, by the way, is quite popular. But Trump on healthcare, he ain't too popular. He was 18 points underwater back in 2018. Look at it now, though. 31 points. We've breached the 30-point barrier. President Trump way down there. We're talking about Titanic-level lows here. We're talking about 31 points underwater. That marks a shift of 13 points away from the President of the United States on health care. Now, you might be saying to yourself, health care, you know, that hasn't really been popping off too much in Trump's second term. But that shouldn't take you away from the fact that what is important to voters isn't necessarily what is sexy. And this, I think, really just says it. Look at this. The biggest financial concern facing Americans. Look at what is at the top of this list. It ain't gas, which we talk about all the time, right? Filling up your car, that's at 8%. Housing, another big thing with the affordability crisis that Americans think are going on, that's at 14%. Food, which we all need, at 18%. But what's number 1 on this list? It's healthcare. It's healthcare at 22%. So that when you see these giant shifts away from President Trump on healthcare, going from 18 points to 31 points, that 13-point shift, that really matters to a whole heck of a lot of Americans. Now, I will say, all this talk has got me a little bit thirsty here. So this week, I'm going for a classic, a nice Coke Zero.
Shameless product placement, man. Shameless product placement.
Quenches the thirst, but more than that, gives me the energy for the rest of our time together. So we're talking about at number 8, right? We were talking about a 13-point shift away from President Trump on the issue of health care. Now, slightly more than 13 points, but rounded to 13 points, coming in at number 7 on your list.
Ellie Bayer, thank you so much for the mutual aid. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Trump's foreign policy net approval rating. Again, slightly more than 13. We're rounding it to 13. A doubling of Trump's net approval rating in the negative on foreign policy down there in the Strait of Hormuz. Look at this. In 2018, Trump wasn't that popular on foreign policy. But again, what became big levels of dislike for President Trump has become historic levels of dislike for President Trump. A doubling in the wrong negative direction down to minus 26 points on the issue of foreign policy. Not too much of a surprise there because, again, what we're talking about Iran, we're talking about Russia. This has become a dominant theme of President Trump's second term. This has become the foreign policy presidency. If the first term was about health care, at least the beginning part of it, the first part of his second term has become about foreign policy. And indeed, what's so interesting, of course, is even though Trump was negative in 2018, when we went into Trump's second term, he was positive. He was positive on foreign policy. It was a big reason why he won a second term in office. Remember, Americans very much disliked what Joe Biden was doing when it came to the Middle East crisis, what was going on in Russia, and therefore won Trump in foreign policy in 2024. Look at this. Who was more trusted on foreign policy, Harris or Trump? It was Trump by a wide margin. We're talking about a 10-point margin here. And now, of course, we're talking about him being 26 points underwater. We're talking about a drop here of 36 points since the election. Since the election, a 36-point drop. Again, though, when we're talking about since term number one, we're talking about a 13-point drop. Now, 13 points at number 7. But again, we got to go even bigger in terms of the drops. We got to go even more down underwater in terms of the drops. I got to get more exercise, swimming down there in the fishes. We got to get there with Jacques Cousteau.
What are you doing, bro? Chill out.
Oh, so what comes in at number 6? Well, number 6 is something we all have to deal with, right? It's something we all have to deal with. We all have to get out our calculators, right, during tax season. And this is an issue that historically is a strong issue for Republicans, but not any longer.
I think these polls should start asking how important of an issue is white replacement to you? I think that would be a great question to ask Americans. How important of an issue do you believe the great replacement theory or white replacement is for you? I'd love to see what people say.
President Trump, look at this. Trump's net approval rating on taxes. At this point in term number 1, again, he was unpopular at minus 10. But now he's 25 points underwater. And you know what that equals? Well, according to my trusted calculator, you know what that is? That is 25 points underwater. Kind of looks like a little bit of a, I don't even know. That kind of looks interesting. 25. Let's see. There we go. He's now 25 points underwater, and it's a shift of 15 points away from the President of the United States on an issue that usually Republicans crush on. And what's going on? Why is Trump so far underwater on taxes? Well, Americans, simply put, don't like the way that things are going with them on taxes. Don't like that things are going for them on taxes. Take a look at this. Say their income taxes are too high or about right. Well, back during Trump's first term, the plurality, look at this, 48% said about right. Just 45% said too high. What's gone on? Well, that too high number is jumped up 14 points to 59%. That about right number?
Question 2. Would you rather have hardworking brown immigrants or lazy white neighbors? Oh, I like that one. Average Norwegian gamer. Look at that. The white supremacy comes out. USA is only 56% white, including Jews. They should be worried. And if any one of us is racist, it's probably you, Noisy. Oh, I'm racist against whites, everybody. I'm racist against whites. There we go. Thank you for finally admitting that you are a white supremacist. You know that there were no white people in the Americas, right? Before they were colonized. What do you mean they should be worried? What the fuck are you talking about? Are you stupid?
Down it goes, just like President Trump's overall approval rating. It's down there now to 37%. So what we're seeing here is an issue that normally what we see during Republican presidencies.
I thought you
is
were
we
leaving
see that
as
about
well.
right number being much.
I thought you were leaving and you came back.
Much closer to where Trump was in term number 1 at this point compared to where he was at Trump term number 2. So we're talking about a 15-point shift away here from President Trump on taxes. What is going to, in fact, be the next biggest shift away?
White supremacists are so easy to see, bro. They're so easy to see. They're so easy to see. You can sniff these people out. You can sniff these people out from a mile away. It's like they'll he called himself a leftist as well. He called himself a leftist.
From President Trump.
What a
well,
joke.
We know it's going to be greater than 15 points. But if you want to actually find out how big those downturns are going to be for President Trump, if you want to see where he goes for 5.
He's just a Nazi.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well, you know what? I like any good type of movie trailer. So for number 1, to see what the biggest drops are going to be, well, you're going to have to tune in to watch the next video. But
okay. Let's talk about the real replacement theory. Let's talk about the real replacement theory. It's Chinese robots.
To robots now, and a new norm in warehouses around the world, with China emerging as a world leader in logistics robotics, a development that has apparently stirred unease in the Trump administration. It's tightened restrictions on some advanced Chinese robot imports, citing national security.
White people in New Zealand do the same thing as well. It's like, oh, we're all being replaced. We're all being replaced. The percentage of white people is going down. You know, there used to be so many white people. Now it's just all brown and black people. Oh my gosh. It's like, bro, 140 years ago, there were no white people here. There were no white people here. Like, what are you fucking crying about?
Concerns. China called the move erroneous. Elsewhere, Chinese technology is being widely used, as Suranjana Tawari reports.
Every time you order clothes, groceries or household essentials online, there's a chance one of these helped out. Inside warehouses across the world, fleets of autonomous robots are changing the way orders are picked, packed and dispatched. Much of that technology is now being developed in China, led by companies like Geek Plus.
Hey, I'm back. Another David. Hey, I'm back at my setup. Just spent the past hour and a half talking with my mom about the Spain-Morocco situation, and I hadn't heard about it, and she has anti-immigrant biases. As a Spanish to U.S. migrant herself. Yeah, it's insane. Hopefully you had a nice conversation. How did it end up? But honestly, they're scared. The Western whites. The whites, I mean. Oh, no. This tech we done. China gonna conquer all, yeah. China number 1.
The world's largest supplier of autonomous mobile warehouse robots.
At the early stage, the challenge is to have the customer.
Anything on Egypt earthquake? No. We're going to be, after this, we're going to move on to Unit 731, which is what we were watching last night. I've also got a video shared here by Bellissinim. Oh my gosh. Bellissinima. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Bellinissima, sorry. It's such a easy yet hard name to pronounce. But there you go. Hopefully I got it. But we've got another one, a couple of videos to watch around this.
To recognize and believe those kind of robot technologies can really create values. But right now, what we see in the market is most of the companies in the world, they realize, they see the trend of automation and they use smart robotics to transform their logistics.
Warehouse automation has existed for decades. What's changed is that software can now coordinate hundreds of autonomous robots at the same time.
In traditional warehouses, workers can end up walking very long distances to pick up orders. But with this technology, the goods come to them. There are no fixed tracks, only QR codes on the floor, and companies can stack their goods even higher with this technology than normal.
Major UK
Chinese robots are taking over. Chinese robots are taking over. Terminator was wrong. Terminator was wrong. It wasn't a robot company from the West. It was a Chinese robot company. Let's go. I like my robot oppression to be Chinese. Thank you very much.
Retailers, including Next, Tesco and Asda, are investing in the technology as they try to meet online demand efficiently. But as robots become more capable, it raises questions about the future of work. Motion Tech, which deploys Geek Plus robots in UK warehouses, says they're helping solve one of the logistics industry's biggest problems.
I wouldn't say that it replaces jobs, because I would say that businesses need this technology.
I wouldn't say it replaces jobs. What do you mean? Of course it replaces jobs. Has this guy ever worked in a warehouse? Like, oh, it's not going to replace jobs. No, it absolutely is. If it wasn't going to replace jobs, no company would invest in it. Like, unless it somehow increases revenue to a place where they don't need to replace jobs. But then they would replace the jobs anyway, because more revenue and less jobs means higher profit margin. It's just, Barry, what are you doing, mate?
In order to develop and move forward, we seem to have a very, a big shortage of labour in the UK at the moment.
Even these robots still have limits. They can't yet carry out many of the dexterous tasks humans perform every day. Geek Plus is developing AI-powered humanoid robots to automate some of those jobs. China's AGI bot is going even further by deploying humanoids into factories to inspect products and sort defects. Human-like robots may be the industry's long-term goal, but they're still some way from becoming a common sight on factory and warehouse floors. Suranjan Atawari, BBC News, Hefei, China.
Oh dear. China supremacy. Here we go. Here it comes. All right. So, hold on. Let me just get your video first. Let me get your video first. Open link. Yeah, so yesterday we... Oh, what's going on? Here we go. Yesterday we were talking about how Japan's atrocities in China, and the chat was like, "Oh, you should check out Unit 731," and so we started digging in a little bit, and it is eye-opening. The one thing that we did identify is people from the Philippines were also very oppressed during this time, but there's very little discourse about it. So Belinissima shared this video with me.
Resub, a loyal, noisy crew member detected. Thank you for your continued support.
Shiny! Shiny! Thank you for the 7 months. Shiny to the moon. And let me play amongst the stars. Thank you, Shiny. So this video was shared with me. We'll start here because I think a good bit of context, and then we'll move into Unit 731 and what atrocities they committed. This is by CGTN. The Tragedies of Philippine Comfort Women. Who are these comfort women? What happened? Let's learn. Shall we? Together, as one.
Andito po nakalibing yung nanay ko, si Estelita D. Namatay si nanay nung 94 years old na siya nun. Hindi nga namin alam ba't umaalis si nanay nun. Alis si nanay. Hindi namin alam na comfort women si nanay. Nalaman namin nag-rally si nanay. Nakita namin sa TV. Comfort women.
Hold on. Let me just read the subtitle.
Andito po nakalibing.
My mother, Estelita Dai, is buried here.
Yung nanay ko, si Estelita D. Namatay si nanay nung
She was 94 years old when she passed away.
94 years old na siya nun. Hindi nga namin alam ba't umaalis.
We didn't even know why she kept running out back then.
Si nanay nun, alis si nanay. Hindi namin alam na comfort women si nanay.
We didn't know she was a comfort woman.
Nalaman namin nag-rally si nanay. Nakita namin sa
We found out when we saw her rallying.
TV. Comfort women si nanay.
We saw her on TV.
Sabi ko, hindi man ako naniniwala kasi
Nane was a comfort woman. What? I said.
Nanay ganun yung na-comfort women.
I couldn't believe it.
Sabi ko, maniwala ka, uulisa.
My mother, a comfort woman, she said, believe it.
Yung panahon lang nga po, galong-galong, kiwento niya sa akin.
That's how it was during the Japanese time.
Na nahasa ako.
Then she told me I was raped.
Hi, Mare. Ano tinda mo? Ano ba ulam niyo? Ulam, amusal. Thank you.
The abduction and brutal violation by the Japanese traumatized Estelita severely and changed the course of her life.
Bye-bye.
Aalala ni nanay, ang ginawa ng
After that, every day when she remembered what had happened,
lola ko, mag-aral ka na lang uli. Habang pinag-aral siya.
My grandmother would say, go back to school.
Pero hindi rin siya natapos. Elementary pa rin siya nun.
She tried to study, but she couldn't continue.
Hindi pa rin siya natapos nun hanggang sa umuwi siya ng Maynila.
She was still in elementary school then.
Trabaho na lang siya. Gigising niya ng alas 5
She wasn't able to finish her studies, and eventually she went to Manila and just started working.
Nagtitinda niya sa simbahan ng bibingka. Hanggang gabi na yun, nagtitinda siya.
She got up as early as 5 a.m. every morning.
Yeah. Hanggat hindi na uubos yung bibingka.
She went to the church to sell rice cakes and stayed until evening.
Hanggang madaling araw, inuubos niya yun.
She wouldn't quit until every last rice cake was sold.
Para lang malaki kitain niya at makauwi ng pera. Nanay, gagawin niya lahat.
My mom wouldn't stop at nothing to provide us with food and clothing.
Para mapakain lang kami ng maayos. Nagtrabaho siya.
She worked desperately because our father had abandoned us.
Kasi iniwan kami ng daddy ko eh. 6 kami.
There was 6 of us kids, so she worked hard to support us all.
Nabuhay siya. Sa gabi siya umuwi. Noon nahihiya si nanay ko, ayaw nga.
Before, yes, my mother was ashamed.
Niyan lumantad eh. Parang ayaw pa nga ng nanay ko mag-asawa.
Because of what happened to her, my mother didn't even want to get married.
Noon di kasi nga, di ba, nung nangyari sa kanya. Pero hindi niya
She never told my father that she was raped during the Japanese occupation.
pinagtapa siya, daddy ko na naghahasa siya ng panahon ng hapon.
She didn't even want to come forward.
Pero nakita niya na may mga lola na
But then she saw others come forward, especially grandmother Rosa, right?
lumantad naman, lalo na si Lola Rosa, di ba? Unang yun yung lumantad eh.
She was the first one to speak up.
Na ano nga yung balita na yung comfort women.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, eventually the news about the comfort women came out.
Comfort women, ganun. Hanggang sa
That's when my mom started joining Lila Pilipina.
sumama nga si nanay dyan.
There's this whole stigma about
the
rape victim. It's even more difficult to say that I had been gang raped by so many Japanese soldiers. Yung mga Japanese immediately after the war, the Filipinos were enraged, against the Japanese. So hirap sabihin na ikaw ay nakasama ng mga Hapon. Pwede kang tignan bilang isang
you could be seen as a traitor.
traitor. So dalawa yung itinatago mo.
You were hiding two things.
Yung naging biktima ka ng gang
One, that
rape.
you were a
At
victim of
pangalawa,
gang rape.
yung
And two,
pwede kang sabihin
that you could be accused of being a traitor to your country.
na ikaw ay naging traitor sa iyong bayan.
That's why it was so hard to say it, and so hard to say I was raped in turns by the Japanese.
Kaya napakahirap sabihin nun.
One time, she told me, I actually don't believe that I will achieve justice in my lifetime. But what I only want is that the young people do not experience what we experienced. I admire her personal qualities, yung tahimik, humble, at saka discerning. Pero at the same time, I'm very, very committed dun sa struggle for justice. Until her deathbed, actually, gusto pa rin niyang sumama dun sa mga
She always wanted to join activities.
no?
Nagsusuporta ako sa nanay kasi sumasama ako sa
I supported my mother by joining the rallies.
rally. Sumusuporta kami, doon pumupunta kami.
We'd support her.
Pag sinabing nanay na may rally kami, sama kami. Minsan nga yung mga apo ko sinasama
If she said we have a rally, we would join.
ko pa yun. Ngayon mga dalaga na yun. Ang gusto namin mangyari,
Sometimes Sometimes I'd even bring my
humingi
grandchildren.
sila ng paumanhin
They're grown up now.
sa nangyari sa mga comfort women.
What we really want is for them to issue an official apology for what they did.
At itala nila sa kasaysayan.
And to include the comfort women system in historical records.
At humingi sila ng paumanhin
And to ask for forgiveness from the women they abused during the Japanese occupation.
sa mga naging biktima nila ng panggagahasan noong panahon ng Hapon.
Oh my gosh, man. Okay, as we dig into what Japan did, like I'm very uneducated about what Japan did in World War II, like at this level. I know what they were, you see shit about Pearl Harbor a lot, don't you? Like Pearl Harbor and how immensely brave the American people were or whatever. Bullshit. But like you never see this stuff. You never really see what happened to people in Asia at the hands of Japan. You never see it because that's not a narrative that that the West wants to talk about, that mainstream media wants to talk about. So here we are. We're going to cover this. I've found a couple of different sources for this. This is CNA. It's I think CNA is what? Is it Singaporean? I think CNA is from Singapore, right? Yeah, anyway, this is an Asian network. And hopefully we'll get a better perspective. We'll get a better perspective about what actually happened. Even World War II in color doesn't talk about this shit. World War II in color doesn't talk about this stuff. World War II in color just talks about how amazing Winston Churchill was and how amazing fucking General George S. Patton was, and, you know, god dang Americans. Yeah, they came in, they killed some Nazis, god dang Nazis. You know, like, that's what World War II in color is like. It's just whitewashing World War II. But here we go, everybody. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Well, not enjoy, but I guess enjoy learning. But this is horrific shit. Nagano, Japan. Jump scare. I found it dead in a rice field. It was in such a good condition. Hold on, guys. I'll just put the I can't show the video, so I'll put just the subtitles on screen so you can see it. It saves me from having to read out every line. Can you see this? Can you see this TikTok? Are you able to see the subtitles? Please give me a yes or a no, TikTok. Thank you.
許可取って白線にしたの。これ何か毒を食ったんだね。毒？かわいそうね。うん。ネズミの退治する。731部隊のことはですね、私が証言するのは最後の人ではないかと言わなきゃ真実がわからない。
Oh shit! Hey, Kiki. Surviving member of Unit 731 from the horse's mouth. Damn, we're getting it straight from the source, the fascist source.
New 隊した時の写真です。14歳の時の写真です。ではこれ。 20年頃の少年はみんな兵隊になるつもりばっかり。子供みたいなもんだけれども、まあ軍隊としてはね。
Just think about what this guy's mind must be like. Like the most absurd and most disgusting shit must be just rattling around in there. Oh my gosh.
少年兵として見てるから大人だね。なりたがったっていうことは考えなかったけどもね。
Talk about PTSD. Yeah, I'm not saying he's a victim. He's got I know.
の先生から満州行かないかということになって何やるか全然内容は知らされませんでした。ただ行く時にはハルピンということだけしか
In 1931, they embarked on Phase 1, the occupation of Manchuria.
Yeah, he was part of Unit 731. He's not just a survivor.
Many Japanese viewed the expansion into China as necessary for the national interest.
Northern China was seen increasingly as the fundamental space from where the Japanese Empire could guarantee the productions and the extraction of resources.
For more than 7 years, war raged through the Chinese land.
In 1925, the Geneva Protocol is signed. And this is the first effort to ban the use of biological and chemical weapons coming out of World War I. Shiro Ishii was a microbiologist and realized these weapons were very important.
He thought that biological weapons were the way for the future.
それが石シロを中心に最近の研究ですね。研究室を作ってですね。でその組織が1936年に731部隊というふうな形に。
It looked like a hygiene organization, but it was very much more than that.
Officially, its stated purpose was to prevent the spread of infectious diseases within the occupied territories and also within the Japanese army. However, this was merely a cover for the unit's bacteriological warfare experiments.
中国に行けばどれだけでもできるんです。人体実験はね、日本じゃできないんですよ。まだソ連の防衛の拠点の一つであるハルピンにできたと。
兵器とかまた機械を作るとかいうことだと思っていたのが全然見当が違うちまい。ただ結局最近の培養試験的に培養させられとった。あれが感染したら必ず死んでしまう。これはそこやないかいね培養したものそれを次に何にするのかそういった説明すらないもんでね。部署でも秘密にしとったわけだ。私は標本室は見てます。 見たのはほとんど解剖した部材ですね。人体の標本は結構たくさんありますよ。生まれたばっかの子供ホルマリンの瓶の中に入ってるんだから。
There was a newborn baby kept in a bottle as a specimen. What the heck?
まあ赤ちゃんが見えるような解剖してあります。壁には血だらけね。
就是当时平房地区的东乡村，也就是731部队的宿舍区。当时731部队总共3000多人中，大部分的成员都居住在这个东乡村。
I mean, it was essentially a small city that was off limits to anybody but those who were part of Unit 731.
向こう中国に行って実験ができますので、中国人に限らずに中国人、韓国、朝鮮、ロシア人、モンゴル人などなど、とにかく日本に対抗するような、抗日分子を捉える。
实验的核心区域那就是四方楼，它被中型走廊一分为二。西侧主要关押男性受试者，东侧主要关押女性受试者。还有2楼，它有各个实验研究班，冻伤的，吃力的，还是伤寒霍乱的。3楼呢，它还有一个暗房，那个暗房就是繁殖跳蚤的。每当他们需要进行对人体进行实验的时候，他们就会通过地下通道运送到他需要的场所。
活体解剖出来的那个细菌的活力才更强，所以他们就做活体解剖。人是清醒的。
The ability to actually test on living entities, that really was essential from their perspective.
Oh. I saw the fetus. Yeah, I saw the fetus video. Fudge. In the fetus in the rubble. Man, it's just so sick. Yeah, I know. I saw. I reposted it. I reposted it on X. Read the subs, please. What happened? Oh, read the subtitles? Oh. Yeah. This is a 46-minute video. It might be. Yeah. I'll do my best.
实验的种类包括细菌性实验、跳蚤、痢疾，或者是冻。
Oh my gosh, I fucked it up already. As well as dysentery.
冻伤实验包括在零下几十度天气。
Oh, yeah.
日本称他们为马鲁达原木，被这么无情的给实验了。
I'm gonna struggle, game dev active. I'm like honestly gonna struggle. It's Yeah, there are 2 parts for this documentary. I think I will struggle to read it. Now it's not the size of the subtitles, Ivan. It's some people are just listening to the audio. So yeah, I can understand. It's is there a way to like just have their audio? Is there a way to have their audio like AI translated or something? Like the subtitles, yeah, that's fine. Subtitles are English, but can it like
木の丸太は丸太、そういうことです。 だから人間の人を丸太と答えた。
A tool to translate in real time.
The people who were experimented upon always ended up dying. So there really were no survivors.
6月中流最終秒読みを開始。5、4、3、
HTTPS translate and speak. How does this work? Hold on. Speak subtitles for YouTube. Oh, damn. Okay. You see, game dev activist, if you hadn't said something, we may never have found this thing. Let's see. Yeah. YouTube speaker. I am in YouTube. Okay. Now what do I do?
1945年以降
Wait, how the fuck do I turn it on? Turn on to listen. Where do I turn it on? I don't see this though. Maybe I have to refresh this. 1238. Where is it? Click settings and turn on English. I did. English is on. Auto translate? No. What? You can, as a creator, you can turn on what? Yeah, but if it works on YouTube, maybe the volume can come through on here as well. Wait. What? Can you just... Read a like ad trailer. Oh my gosh. Intense paid promotion, AI use. Automatic chapters. Pin the YouTube subtitle speaker translator to the browser toolbar. Yeah, I did. Click on the extension icon in the Chrome toolbar. Yeah. Navigate to YouTube video details page. YouTube video details page. What's the YouTube video details page? What? Go to YouTube. In the Chrome toolbar. What's the Chrome toolbar? This is the Chrome toolbar, my clothes brush, isn't it? Sorry, guys. Just 1 second. Let's just try. What's the... Up the top? Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Can you see that on the screen? I've clicked on it. Oh, no, you can't see me clicking on it. Yeah, I've clicked on it. But it says, turn off, display a white logo. Turn off, display a white logo. What do you mean turn off? Turn on, listen to your language, turn off. But it's not there. Is it? You're good? I'm curious if this can work. Yeah. This is confusing. Why isn't this working? YouTube speaker. Hold on. Let me just try. Because this will be very helpful. Speak subtitles to you. Speak subtitles. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so it's on. Where are we? 2030, 1239.
年以降、731のことに。
Ah, here we go. Okay, it's enabled.
After war in 1945, most Japanese people had no chance of learning about Unit 731. Everything was burnt in Matsuria just before the defeat.
The volume might be a bit. I may need to lower the volume of the video.
現地で満州で、敗戦の直前に、全部焼却したとか。
Former unit members returned to Japan's medical community.
日本に戻ってきて医学界に復帰するんですけれども、
But they remained completely silent. They were unable or unwilling to speak about it. Then Tsuchi Morimura published The Devil's Gluttony, since it was the first book to reveal the existence of Unit 731. Most Japanese people knew nothing about it.
731部隊というものの存在を初めて明らかにして、書かれたもんですから。
I've spent over 40 years researching Unit 731.
Oh my god, it's working! It's so good! Is this good? Folks? Is this good? Yes? No? Now everyone can listen along. Game dev activists, you've just changed the game.
One day in 1984 /I Professor Matsumura was browsing with a friend /I.
Okay. It should only do... It's going to do everything. That's the only problem. It's going to do absolutely everything. Yeah, that's the only issue. It's going to read everything out. Is that bad, though? Doesn't matter.
I've spent over 40 years researching Unit 731. I one day in 1984 /I Professor Matsumoto was browsing with a friend /I. I drew the shelves of second-hand books /I when they found a set of remarkable papers /I. Are these the actual scientific record of the number of killings /I chronicled by Japanese scientists in Unit 731? /I. On this occasion, the prisoners were murdered with mustard gas. /I 20 men were involved. /I.
The fuck are you doing, bro? Just don't speed up the voice. Slow down the video.
I how far away from the center of where the gas bomb exploded /I were these men placed. /I. I'll show you a map. /I. These are Marutas. /I 5 Marutas were located. /I.
Why is it reading the random /s? The fuck is this? Why is it reading the random /s? Nah, but maybe there's a way to set it so that it doesn't. There's only English.
Some were exposed without gas masks /I and some were with gas masks /I. And some were under shelter /I and they were located in different conditions /I. At the center of a glass chamber, she held her child with a look of resignation. That's when the poison gas began to fill the chamber. No matter how hard I try to forget that sight, it's burnt into my eyes and won't leave me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gas released. Why did you stop? Did you stop being human as well?
I love this.
Oh, I'm Maruta /I, killed while still alive. Japanese people, ask yourselves now. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Recording. Here at Anda. This wasn't the road Unit 731 used to transport test subjects. That's the road they used. Anda is a pastoral region. Very suitable for raising animals and it's not too far from Harbin. They tested nearly all of their biological weapons here. Including fixed-point detonations and aerial dispersal of pathogens like plague and anthrax. When the weather met the conditions required for the experiment, they would bring the subjects out to the test site.
Amelia.
When the conditions were right, the subjects were bound tightly one after another to stop them from moving. Their heads and chests were covered with steel helmets, iron plates and quills, leaving the buttocks and legs exposed so that bomb shrapnel would break the skin, and bacteria could enter through the wounds.
The goal of these gruesome experiments was that they didn't want these individuals to die. They wanted them to be infected.
That's not it. That's the marker. Yes. We're both from the Northeast and we grew up here. So we have a personal attachment to this land. If there were no cultural or boundary markers, we would have no way of knowing what happened here.
What extension did you find, Ivan?
没有文保碑，如果没有界碑，我们是无法知道这里发生过什么。
There were two sides to the war. The direct skirmishes that everyone witnessed. And behind that, the secret use of biological warfare. In 2002, I was working as a reporter stationed at the Beijing Bureau. That was the first time I learned that biological warfare had taken place in China. Either route north becomes a one-way stream of mass evacuation /I increasing in volume as weary refugees leave one village /I.
Hold on, I'll try this one because this is a really good thing to have. Okay, sign in. Okay, I'm turning it on now. Yeah, it is a game changer. It really is. Because people can like really listen in. It's such a big deal. Okay, and then what do I do? It's connected. And there should be an icon that comes up. Where are we? Okay. The 1925.
年以降、長崎市のこと。
The route north becomes a one-way stream of mass evacuation.
The route north becomes a one-way stream of mass evacuation /II, increasing in volume as weary refugees leave one village /II after another deserted and destroyed. /I the Japanese army aimed to suppress the Chinese forces and make Chinese civilians feel that they no longer wish to continue the war. To achieve this, the army ordered Unit 731 to carry out biological warfare.
Okay.
There was a high death rate in this district, including Shangying and Xiaoying Street.
Nice.
This was a harbor at the time, right? It was a harbor. Suzhou was located right on the front line of the resistance against the Japanese invasion. On October 4, 1940, Suzhou suffered its first attack. The aircraft circled over the urban area, dispersing large amounts of materials used to spread pathogens, such as millet wheat grains and 8 kilograms of plague-infected fleas. They flew over the city's biggest commercial district at the time and released 8 kilograms of plague-infected fleas. By modern standards, these fleas were one of the most effective biological weapons. Ahead is Chaijia Alley. At the time, this was one of the worst affected areas.
Ahead is Chaijia Alley. Even pronounced it properly. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. I'm in love with the auto. I'm in love with the Bato. Oh my gosh, this is great.
This was where they dispersed the fleas? Yes. Luohan well know. 5 is the former residence of Huang Liaoshi, a victim of the first biological attack. There were 10 civilians in this house who tragically died from this outbreak. By 1941, deaths in the Suzhou region exceeded 9,000.
Is this a game changer?
The second attack took place in 1942. An expeditionary force from Unit 731 arrived in Suzhou. They disguised themselves as Chinese soldiers and carried contaminated food such as flatbread and steamed buns. They deceived civilians who had not fled, including the elderly and children. The 2 men who came to your house with baskets of rice cakes, do you still remember what they looked like? One of them was quite muscular. He spoke Mandarin? Yes. Was it Mandarin or a Jiangshan dialect? He spoke Mandarin. So he didn't sound like a local from Jiangshan. Each packet contained 15 pieces wrapped in paper. At that time, we had nothing to eat. So I ate half a rice cake. The symptoms started the next morning. I began vomiting and having diarrhea, fever, thirst. It was unbearable. A lot of people died. Homes were full of coffins. Candles were lit. It was extremely tragic. Walking through the old streets of Suzhou, I'm struck by the suffering the Japanese forces once brought upon ordinary people here.
Is that how you correctly pronounce it? Suzhou? Suzhou? Oh, this is so good. Oh my goodness.
当地的老百姓造成了非常大的灾难。
More than 80 years on, the scars of war remain.
I see.
One, they took Hong Kong and invaded Malaya. /II, they bombed British Singapore and its great naval base. /I greater than I saw this in early 2018.
Yeah, it should be all good. My clothes brush.
I saw this early 2018.
At that time, there was no other footage of Unit 731 facilities in Southeast Asia. This footage was taken by Colonel Masuda Tamasada when he visited Southeast Asia. Masuda was one of the key people who set up the Singapore unit. Fleas, they can't survive in the winter. Harbin is very cold. Unit 731 needed to look for a good place to mass-produce fleas. They discovered the ultimate breeding conditions for fleas were 27 to 30 degrees Celsius, humidity about 90%. This was telling them, come over to Singapore.
This is so crazy, what they did. Insane.
In 1991, I was a journalist with the Straits Times, and I was tasked to interview Mr. Othman Wong. He was the former Minister of Culture, and so he was a very prominent politician. I was going through the past newspaper clippings, and I came across an interview in which he mentioned that he was working in a laboratory during the Japanese occupation. I tried searching if there was any follow-up stories, but there were none. So I pursued it. The first thing I did was to speak with Othman Wong, and that's when I realized, okay, that's the story. Allow me to read from my article. Their assignment was to remove fleas from rats brought in by the rat catchers and then transfer the fleas into containers. In one incident, a member of the Japanese staff died after he picked up an infected rat that bit through his rubber glove. This whole image of a boy with a teenager picking fleas from rats just kept in my mind.
Towards the end of the war, the significance came when I was told that
Towards the end of the war /II, the significance came when I was told that the fleas /II that were bred by millions by this lab /II were shifted to Bangkok, Thailand. /II, then they had dive bombers /II flying over Chongqing, China. /II, and they dropped these fleas /II which were put in big flasks onto the city. /II, then it struck me /II in all the 2 years that I worked in this lab /II, and dealing with fleas that were infected with plague germs /II, that then I realized that they were used /II for this germ warfare. /I greater than I suspect this test tube housed the fleas, and then they put this tube into a glass jar and made it into a bomb.
I am suspecting this test tube housed the fleas, and then put this tube into the glass jar and make it a bomb.
Since I broke the story in 1991.
Why did it start reading like that? It's probably the HTML of how the transcript is written. It's probably a bit stuffed.
What shocks me is that there has virtually been no academic research done on Unit 731 in Singapore. And so, Xiaobin, it seems now, is the lone crusader.
These are some of our new discovery.
I started Unit 731 research from 2015 to find out what happened because it was almost unknown to Singaporeans. These records were only recently declassified. This came from a person called Williams. So he says after capture at Singapore in February 1942, I and many other POWs were vaccinated and inoculated. Within 4 to 5 days, a great amount of POWs, including myself, suffered from severe headaches, diarrhea, dysentery, and abdominal symptoms. These experiments were carried out 3 times with the same symptoms at the end. If these are not experiments, I don't know what else you'd call it. I found this separate report from the Japanese archives. The researcher said, I have successfully extracted out the virus from the rat. I'm going to bring it back to Sian in Singapore. This is evidence that a virus that didn't exist in Singapore was brought back by a Japanese scientist. For certain reasons, there were 17 POWs in Changi camp infected. The name of the disease translates into scrub typhus. They conducted quite a detailed investigation. They had tables of 17 patients, their names, their temperature, and so on. 3 died.
Hundreds of thousands of deaths.
I
10 years ago, I began interacting. At the time, there was an initiative to commemorate the 70th anniversary of World War II. That's when I learned about them. A mentor challenged me, Liao Zhengyan, if you've got what it takes, photograph them all.
Typhus, scrub typhus, glycol.
What struck me most was that my subjects, the people around them, and even those around me, including myself, all began with almost no knowledge of this history.
Oh my gosh.
I visited villages where they told me their entire family had rotten leg disease.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen elderly survivors whose ankles had rotted all the way to the bone. Even talking about it now, I can feel my scalp prickle. I thought, how could something like this happen? These crutches belonged to the first elderly person I ever photographed. When I visited his home, I thought about arranging them into the human character Grun. I wanted to restore their dignity as human beings. This person passed away years ago. Is this how you kept their records? Yes. Serial number, name, address. Over the past 11 years, I've visited these elderly people many times. On this page, only Zhang Rongmei is still alive. She's the one we're visiting today.
Oh my goodness, what the Japan, bro. Japan. Any Japanese people in the chat? Any Japanese people in the chat? No.
It's here? Granny? I've been here many times, but this is the first time I've seen you. Granny, do you still remember me? I don't remember. Oh, you've forgotten. Do you recognize the people in these photos? Granny, this is you.
是不是啊？
对。
I photographed over 70 elderly individuals, but now only 17 remain. What are you doing here today? Peeling shells. Oh, peeling? Oh, baling teasets. Working. Does your leg still hurt? Yeah, it hurts. She used to tell me when her feet hurt it felt like a chick's beak pecking at them. I need 4 types of medication including ointment and anti-inflammatory tablets. She told me she'd often wake up crying out in pain at night. That left a deep impression on me. This visit was very precious. The fact that she's still alive makes her a living witness to history. She was hospitalized for 2 weeks. Her feet had healed, but 6 months later, they festered again. It just won't heal. The last time I visited her, I mentioned that out of 70 elderly people, very few were still alive. She replied, "They all pass away eventually. Why can't I die too?" That moment truly broke my heart. She seemed to think death was a form of liberation.
The vet is ringing me. You guys keep watching.
Seven days after MacArthur landed on Leyte/II, the United States 3rd and 7th Fleets/II dealt the Japanese Navy its death blow/II in the battle for the Leyte Gulf/II, and one atomic bomb did this to a city and its people.
You know, this part of the country is rural and very peaceful. It's just odd that such a serene place is the home to such a devastating tragedy. Saturday, May 5th, 1945, Archie Mitchell would have driven up this road off here. The children got out of the car and began running down the slope.
Why the fuck are we in America now? Yeah, it's well, his scrotal swelling, it seems to just be because of the operation. They did a scan and they said there's nothing to worry about. It's just something to watch. He's going to stay there tonight as well, but we're going to go see him at around 7 p.m. Potentially, he will be released tomorrow. Potentially, but we'll see. The parts say Japan's balloon bombs. Okay. Yeah, it's all seeming very positive, guys. Very positive, but yeah, like I said, I just want to take it day by day and see. But we'll take some more pictures and videos and stuff today, and I will share it on Discord. But I appreciate all of you caring. Thank you. It's awesome. Thank you.
Toward Leonard Creek. You can even hear the creek off there in the distance. Joan Patsky
Kia ora, darling.
Saw up here on this bluff what's appeared to be a parachute and she came over and called the other kids to look. And it's at this spot then where the children gathered in a tight circle around the carriage of the balloon. Archie Mitchell would later report that his wife called out to him, "Honey, come look at what we found." Just as he was turning to look, an explosion tore through the forest.
Look at the headline. Jap balloon. It's a fucking racist headline as well.
People reported having nightmares for years afterwards. The deaths in Bly devastated the community. This is the site, as it says, only place on the American continent where death resulted from enemy action during World War II. Of the 350 balloons that arrived in North America, none were found to have any biological agents. These were intended to cause panic. But from the perspective of the War Department, the greatest risk was seen as biological warfare. The thought that the Japanese might arm these balloons with some kind of biological or bacteriological agent. Anthrax, smallpox, these were weapons of terror.
There was a last-ditch attempt in the late stages of the war to implement some sort of bacteriological weapon on the American mainland, on the West Coast, that never really came to be. But such plans did exist.
Oh, here we go.
One atomic bomb did this to a city and its people.
Slashing an atomic bomb is highly visible. When one is dropped, an enormous explosion and a huge mushroom cloud instantly alert the world. Right before the Japanese surrender, an order came from Army headquarters instructing Unit 731 to destroy evidence, dispose of documents, demolish research facilities, and get rid of the remains of the I Marutas/I. This was essentially an order to eliminate all evidence. On the day they decided to flee, they poisoned all the test subjects in the prison. Those who did not die were shot.
Oh my goodness.
The last thing I did was to check if the I Marutas/I were still alive or dead. It was August 14th at around 7 in the evening. They announced we had to leave the unit together on the train.
If I would raid detected. Thank you, Raiders. Welcome. Hope you stick around and hit that follow button. Zach Chap. Hey, Zach Chap. It's a Zach Chap? Did you change your name, Zach Chap? A Zach. What's going on? Welcome. Hey, Jin.
You follow.
Hello. Hey, Waldo Politics. Welcome. Gaming/chill alt. Oh, I see. Oh, you have an alt. Nice. Hey, Cause. Welcome in, everybody. We're just finishing off. Trash No Mancer. Hi. We are just finishing off the part one of Inside Unit 731, Japan's secret death lab. Very interesting stuff. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much, Zach Chap. Hope you had a good stream.
Was caught, I would have to take a cyanide tablet immediately.
Waldo Politics, thank you for the follow.
Those were the instructions when the tablet was given. In Busan, Shiro Ishii appeared and announced to members that Unit 731 was now disbanded. He ordered them never to reveal their secret to take it to their graves.
Thank you so much for the gift. Just imagine all the shit this guy saw and did, and he just gets to walk around like nothing happened. Like, as far as mass murdering goes, like this is next level. Just walking around like everybody else.
Yeah.
For those of us who saw what happened, the feeling was indescribable. Horrible things happened. We had to endure this sadness in our hearts.
Oh, fuck. You had to endure the sadness in your heart. Oh, shit.
That's how it all ended.
Nobody in Unit 731 was prosecuted. Nobody was held accountable. There was an orchestrated cover-up by the Japanese and U.S. government that lasted for several decades.
Japanese scientists held a treasure trove of research notes and science.
America was trying to develop these weapons. Unit 731 would help them get there faster.
Nice. Okay. So we invited them to us. Yeah. US and Japan, everybody. Don't forget that that a Nazi was, helped America with its space mission, with building rockets. Yeah, oh, this is so bad, man. America just got all the fascists into the United States, got all the fascists, and just gave them jobs. They gave them jobs, everybody. America, fuck yeah. Gonna get the fascists and give them a job, yeah. To be fair, South America got a bunch too, yeah. Oh, America. America. Okay. All right. We trained the ones in South America, yeah. It's so bad, man. Those jobs should have been for American fascists. Yeah, Waldo, we were talking about how the reason why denazification didn't work, it's because they were all Nazis. How can you denazify a whole continent or like 2 continents? You know? They were all Nazis. 3 continents. It's like that scene from the Avengers. When Hulk is asked, like, how can you control it so well? And Ruffalo goes, I'm always angry. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, why did denazification not work? Well, they were all Nazis. Western Hemisphere Institute for Security Corporation. This is where we train
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
This is where we train people for the South American coup. Oh. The land of burgers, ranch dressing, and fascism. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, guys. I've got to go pick up my son, but I'll be back again in the evening. I just want to say, learning's nice. I'm so glad we're getting into this part of World War II because I didn't know much about it. I've spent a lot of time, obviously, on the mainstream stuff, you know? Mainstream stuff like World War II in color. World War II in color. Thank you, friends. And they don't talk about this. It was a good documentary. There's a lot more stuff. Yeah, there's part 2. There's part 2, by the way. There's part 2 of this, which we'll watch in the evening live stream. So I'll be back at around 8 p.m. New Zealand time. 8 p.m.-ish. We're going to go see Ginger. We're going to go see Ginger, and after that, we'll come back. But, yeah, part 2, we'll watch it later. A Nazi helped USA with space. Werner von Braun, the guy that wrote the book Project Mars, A Technical Tale, which has humans learn about Martians, social structure, and government, which is run by 10 males under leadership of the Elon, where Elon's dad got his name from. No! Zach Chap! You for real? Oh my gosh! Elon's name is Nazi shit? Even his name? Thank you, Lindsay. No, I didn't know. It's from a book? Oh. Historians are going to ask. Future historians are going to ask. How did they not see the signs? And do you know what I'm going to say? We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We just didn't know. Have you watched interviews with his dad? No, I haven't, Sean. He's making the Nazi book come true. They knew all along. It's like future historians will go, how come you didn't know? He literally Sig Heiled twice on live TV in front of the world. And then we're going to be like, yeah, I know he Sig Heiled. I know he Sig Heiled. But they said he was just throwing his heart at the crowd. So, yeah. Have you looked into Technocracy? Technocracy Inc.? No, I haven't. Is that a documentary, Lindsay? Gamer Salute? Yeah. How did you not see this coming? Bro, the guy got away with 2 Sig Heils. The guy got away with 2 Sig Heils. And where did I go? I'm still here. Where'd you go? Oh, my camera turned off. Sorry. My camera turned off. I don't know if my mic is going, but my camera turned off. I don't know why. So probably a good time to just raid and leave. Where'd you go? I miss you so. Feels like it's been forever since you've been home. Where'd you go? I miss you so. Feels like it's something since you've been home. Something. Can you turn the mic off? No. Hell no. Where'd you go? I miss you so. Feels like it's been forever. Technocracy Inc. is where Elon's dad was involved for his Nazi stuff. Oh, shit. Okay, I got to check that out. Give Ginger our love. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got to go feel his scrotum today to see if it's all okay. But yeah, he's getting better. New sleep paralysis demon song just dropped. All right, Raiders! Woo! Now you don't even know what I'm doing. I could be doing anything on camera, and you have no clue. You have no clue. Sit with that one, folks. Enjoy the raid, everybody. Kakite! Free Palestine! Take care, everybody. Take care. Love all of you. Kakite. And please stay safe. Salam. I will catch you all soon. Take care, everybody.